So my name is Max Payne, and it's a little fun time now with Max Payne and guitars. So let me grab a pick here. So I played through a Yamaha THR-10X. It's the little green badass. And I'm going to introduce you to one of my best friends. This is my favorite. Oh, nice, I almost dropped it. This is my favorite. It wouldn't be the first time it's been dropped. This is my favorite guitar of all time. It has been with me all over the world. It's what I learned all of my most important skill on, and I really love this guitar. It just means a lot to me. It's been down for the count for the last little while. It's had a bad switch on it, and I fixed that by using one of the switch for the middle pickup here. I found a pickup somehow miraculously. It's an EMG, and I stuck it in. I'm going to change this pickup out. When I do that, I'm going to refix all of this, and when I do that and rebuild all of this, I'll bring you along with me, because like I said, this guitar is and it's just a beater, man. I mean, it just takes an ass kicking. The stories I can tell you about where this has been. This was actually on the B-bus when the whole shit went down with Sid, and this is the same guitar that Sting came to me and asked me to get one just like it so I could give to my jamming partner at the time, who was Nick Patrick. We spent hours, and so Sting bought Nick the exact same guitar, and Nick and I in the same rig, which was a Zoom 9000, and we both just would have these little portable powered speakers, and we would just sit around and jam on them together. A lot of Leonard Skinner, a lot of Aerosmith, and then eventually our own songs. This little guy has a lot of meaning to me. So anyway, let's play him today. Now you've heard enough of a march down memory lane. You'll hear more. There's no way around it. I'm going to tell you more stories about him. This is this is Hellraiser, excuse me. This is Hellraiser. And I believed in it so much at the time, I actually carved it into the top of it. This is actually relieved. And this logo right here is the logo of my band, Living Insanity. And then right here is WFO. And it used to have some other stuff on it. I don't remember. I had a little button right here that when I turned my guitar like this, it said "fuck off." I took that off because it seemed inappropriate, so now I can just tell the story because it's not there anymore. It got lost many a times and found. Somehow it always ended up back in my hands. This was a gift from the Hohner Corporation. I got a hold of them and told them what I did, and they sent me like 6 guitars. And I have another guitar that we're gonna build together called the Jack. Oh, it's so cool. I can't wait to finish it, but we'll save that one for another day. But I have that guitar too. That's really cool. But yeah, we'll put the Jack back together and make this monkey sing. So anyway, this is my favorite guitar. This is Hellraiser, and I quite frankly think it sounds like $1 million. So what I want to show you today is a couple things. There is a guy by the name of Neil Peart, and he said something once long ago that I've kept in my musical advice repertoire my whole life. I had to have read this back in the mid 80s when I was just this huge mark for all of rock and roll things. I couldn't absorb enough of it. At the time I had a very, very close friend in college who taught me the fundamentals of the blues by just teaching me 1-4-5. I will explain that later. And then eventually just teaching me how to play a 1-4-5 16-bar turnaround. And once you do that, then your pentatonic scales and the 5 boxes come into play, and that's how you learn how to play, is by jamming with other people. If you're not jamming with other people, what Neil Peart said is this: an hour of practicing on a metronome is equal to 4 hours of practicing, or 3. It's like whatever, squared, cubed, without a metronome. Because with a metronome, you force yourself into doing what you're trying to accomplish. It's playing within the meter. And I know what Neil was saying, so I've always tried to do that. Right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to teach you I'm just going to show you what I do. Like, I'm just going to play and warm up, and I'm just going to show you what I do, and I'm going to post it. And if you like it, well, great. If you don't, it's okay. Don't watch it. So, anyway, I always start with something really simple when I warm up, and it's just the first box in E is all it is. So that's really simple, and but on the surface it's really simple to just have that, feel that kind of cadence. So now, where does the metronome fit in? Well, there's still 4 more boxes that I have to just show you. This is how I warm up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm completely cold. So I'm just starting, this is my warm-up process for before I even start to practice or turn on a metronome. So this is what I do. I need about 15-20 minutes of just letting my fingers get warm and getting my dexterity back. So this is what I do. This is box number 2. And then what I try to do to challenge myself, how do I keep myself excited about doing this? Well, I usually challenge myself to try to do it one time through as perfect as I can at this speed. That's about as close as I can get to just a nice little, it's not perfect by any means, but it's just a nice flow. Now, when I do this, my constant goal, so now I've showed you 2 boxes. The first one, the second one, so there's the second one, here's the third one. Shit. So one of the things that this is the one box. So I constantly strive to figure out how to keep my hand in one place once I find the root of the box. So the first box is the open string. The second box is based on the 3rd fret. The third box is its root is on the 5th fret. The fourth box's root is on the 7th fret, and the last box before is based on the 10th fret. So the other frets are based on the dots. The last one's based on the 3rd fret below the 12th fret, so it's on the 10th fret. Or 2nd fret, excuse me. Technically, it's if you count the one you're on, which is 12, 11, 10. You have to do it that way. So now, here's what I was saying. So this particular turnaround is tough because there's a place where you have to move your hand. So I'm going to try and go through it without fucking it up. Nope, see? So you gotta, I remember there's a technique in this. I gotta use my middle finger on this. And on this one too, I start, if you notice, I don't start with these two fingers, I'm starting with these two. Start with my little and my middle. So then what I do is I isolate that part. You can see what I'm working on. So I isolate that part to get my motor memory in place. So I can just go over it and over it again. So when I get to that part, I don't have to figure out what my fingers are going to do in that position. So now I have to slow down. I'm trying to go too fast. So. So also I want to say, this is recovery for me because I just had surgery. I had both hands cut on. I had what's called Guyon canal. In your hand there are two nerves, ulnar and the medial. That's the two nerves. The ulnar controls the finger of passion, which I call the ring finger, that one. You'll understand why I call it that. That's just what I call it, because it is the ring finger, but that is the finger that all of your heart is in. That's why I have weird control of that weird thing right there. What's funny is I have the ability, I have to, when you play these things over and over in your head, you have to find the rhythm of how you play. And the key is these two together, is getting your mind to think, how do I make my right hand and my left hand be as one? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's all great guitar players try to do, is syncopate the two hands. See, I don't have to do it. See, I keep trying to force it in when it doesn't need to be there. It can stay afloat for a second. So it's, watch this. I'm going to get that stretch a little bit. So this is where I have to work to get my dexterity back. I'm not quite there, but eventually you can feel I'll get this back. I need to keep my hand power here because this is what's happening. Now what do I do? So, let me tell you what my mind does. How do I learn this? How do I figure this out? How do I infiltrate my mind so that I know this riff? This is the biggest, Out of all the riffs in the 5 boxes, this is the part I've isolated that's the most difficult. And now I got it. So I found my groove on this. It's so fucking cool, actually. This is what I do. I just sit here like a neurotic guitar player, a typical guitar player. And so, how do I get to the point where I know I've got everything in my path the way I want it? And this is how I do it. I sing to myself in my head. I can sing that solo in my head. So I'll try to sing I'll sing it to you so you know I know what I'm talking about. It goes da da do da da do da da do da do 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 do da do. So once I got that in my head, now I equate that with my finger position. So now I have to make sure that when I go to sleep tonight, I call it sleep teaching. I teach myself in my sleep all the time. Now let's see if I can incorporate the whole thing in. So I think I can move past the 3rd box. And you know what? That's where we're going to end the day. There's 28 minutes just like that. Have a great day. I'll see you the next time on Guitar Playing with Max.